I'm out here in Beverly Hills at Franklin Canyon. So that's my bad Robin Leach impersonation. But yeah, this is Beverly Hills. This is Franklin Canyon. We're here at the Highway Earth Car Show. It's Sunday, June 27th, 2021. I'm out here with my pacer with the Rambler Club, Rambler AMC Club. And there's lots of stuff here. There's lots of high-end stuff. So if you like Ferraris, Porsches, stuff that I definitely can't afford and probably will never be able to afford, it's all here. And supposedly there's going to be like celebrities and things like that, so we'll see about that. And I'm going to walk around. This is like a huge, there's like a reservoir that's a dam, and it goes all the way around. It's like a pretty good hike to get around. I think it's about 3/4 of a mile all the way around, so everything's kind of like in line. Another announcement is I just picked up another project car. Actually, I haven't picked it up. I'm picking it up tomorrow, but I bought another interesting 1960s project car, even though I wasn't looking for one. But it was cheap, so I had to buy it because you know how that goes, even though I don't have room for it. So it might be a flip to pay for some stuff on the 40, or I might be selling my Fox Body Mustang to keep it. So stay tuned for that. Hopefully I'll have that video up next week. I will say it's 1960s. It is Ford, and it is kind of a car, kind of a pickup truck. So you can kind of guess what model it is, but just by that if you know anything about Fords. So there's actually still cars rolling in, even though I think they were supposed to be done rolling in like 5 minutes ago, but as you can see, there's still stuff rolling in. But we're gonna go check this out, and there's gonna be lots of cool stuff here. All right, starting off with an exotic. Somehow this guy got wrapped up, got parked next to all of us in the AMC Club with this Lotus. But, I don't know how that happened. Here we go. They got a 1970 AMC Rebel. This guy's a member of the SoCal Ramblers. I think all these guys are members of the SoCal Ramblers. So we got a guy rolling through. This is probably the best way to get around the show is on a scooter, because this whole loop goes like all the way around. It's pretty far. And we featured this before. This is Mike Finch's Gremlin X with a factory 304 V8. And his car is actually featured. There's actually a book they gave us for the show, and his car is actually featured in the book because it's like super cherry. It's like way nicer than my Pacer. But he actually won a trophy at the Orphan Car Show. So if you watch, I've got a video on the Orphan Car Show from about a month and a half ago as this Oldsmobile rolls past. It's a very nice 88. So there's a few stragglers still coming in. It's about 9:05. They said they were going to have all the cars placed by 9, but I guess not. So there's my Pacer. I've also got a video on this car showing when I first found it. Actually, it's just past the 4-year anniversary since I found this car, and I actually was in Beverly Hills. It actually lived in Beverly Hills until I got it since new. I got it from the original owner's family, and I've got a whole video up on my channel. If you go in the Project Cars playlist, it'll pop up, and that's always a crowd pleaser. It's a very nice, I think it's a 56 Rambler American, and these have the seats that fold down into a bed, which is really cool. And this was the last year they put the Continental kits on the back. I believe it was a standard item on these. The last year that AMC or Rambler did that. And here's a 66 American Motors Rambler Rebel, and this one's actually a 4-speed car, so it's super rare. I was talking to the owner. He said there's actually only 6 of these known to exist with a 4-speed. As more of your exotic car porn rolls past. It's a Ferrari something or other, so I don't really know much about Ferraris, except that they're usually red and they're very expensive. Here's a Rambler. So another Nash. This one's a big old bathtub car. Actually, the earlier ones were called the bathtub, the big round ones. But this one's very original paint, and looks like something maybe dug out of a garage. I haven't spoken to the owner too much on this one. This is Ane. This is Ane's car. This Rambler American wagon. I believe it's a 62, if I'm not mistaken. I'm sure if he watches the video, he'll correct me on that. But this one's extremely original. It's even got the black plates on it. He actually runs the SoCal Rambler Club. He runs it, and he founded it about a few years ago. Here we go, another Rambler American 2-door post. This one's pretty wild. This is like a wild custom. I can't remember the guy's name that owns this, but this one is pretty heavily modified. This guy actually ran a Lemons rally in it. I've actually talked to him about it. He ran a Lemons rally before I did, so it wasn't any of the same Lemons rallies that I ran. But he drives the hell out of this car, believe it or not. This guy we've had in there too. This is a really nice Rambler 330 wagon on the American chassis. It's a cool little hot rod. This one's a 28 Ford. So it's like a Model A with like a 32 grill on it. A little Carmen Gia.
Yeah.
73.
That's gonna be great for bending.
Oh, sorry, I know you're.
Sorry.
And we also got the Corvair Club, because you can't have the AMC Club here without the Corvair Club. We got to have all the weird stuff here. It's a really nice Corsa. This was like towards the this is the later years of the Corvairs. And we've got a Corvair van. I believe this is a Greenbrier. This is one of the Greenbrier. They had different names for the vans. I've seen this guy around too. This one's very interesting. He's got a vintage Schwinn bicycle back there. This one's a 65 Corsa. More exotic, newer cars coming in. Except, well, that's not a newer car, but... Oh, look, it's a catalytic converter dispenser. Alright, back to the Corvair.
Yeah.
That's what I call those. I call those catalytic converter dispensers. Okay, here we got the Triumph Club now. Little TR6 Roadster. And then somehow this Fiat got involved. I'm not sure. I think this is the guy that ran the rally I did a few years ago. This is the guy, because I recognize the plate, the I Love AAA plate. He ran the Escape from LA rally a few years ago. I have a video. It's like one of my early car videos I did. So maybe I could pop it up in the top corner if you actually want to watch it.
You're putting mine on the grass.
And here's a Triumph.
I don't know about that.
This one's a Lotus. And more Triumph Roadsters. I don't like to get in when there's like a whole bunch of people just like crowded around. I'm gonna watch my cord. This one's ready to go racing. Little Austin Healey Sprite. Dad actually had one of these, and he lost it. He did a car deal, and some guys from Japan had to have it, and they said they wouldn't buy the other cars unless he sold them the Sprite. So, and he had to sell it to basically do the deal on the car, because he needed to make the deal happen. This is probably 25, 30 years ago, though. Here's an interesting camper. This one's a Range Rover, and he's got the full lift on it with the camping, ready to go out in the desert. It's a Mustang 2+2 with the Shelby wheels on it, and a 4-speed and air conditioning. So that's a pretty well optioned car. That's real sharp. So a Lotus, this is a Lotus Cortina. It's just a Cortina. But of course, Lotus modified some of these for racing as well. This doesn't appear to be a Lotus Cortina. It's just a regular English Ford Cortina GT. Still pretty scarce car on these shores. And some modern Mercedes that somehow snuck in here. I think that's actually where they filmed this, if I remember right. It was either here or up in the Hollywood Hills. They filmed Andy Griffith opening. I'll have to look that up, and I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Who knows? Here comes a nice 2002 BMW. Very sharp car. You can see there's lots of nature around here. People come up here to do a lot of hikes and things like that, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I've been up here with like scooter clubs and such before as well. And here's the MG Club. There's a nice BGT. You always tell the B and the C, because the C has a 6-cylinder and has like a bulge in the hood. This one's the BGT. I do know a little bit about these since my dad was like a British car guy. Little Roadster.
I would have gotten two, but they didn't have to. They only have one.
This one's, of course, in British racing green.
But then the other package said
This one's a Lotus.
They said, you know what, we need this job requires presentation skills, pick a topic of your choice and talk for 5
More
minutes.
MGs.
That's fine. Yeah. And I have that this week, and I'm down with that. 30 minutes.
This one's very old. Little Austin Healey. And a modern Corvette. Alright, in the balls of steel category, here's a guy that actually brought in, it's got civilian plates, so it's a civilian car, but it's an LAPD spec P71 Crown Victoria with full livery and lights. So, not sure if it's a movie car, but if he drives this thing on the street, oh my god. Because you can get away with driving like the older ones, but these are actually still in service down here in Southern California, so that's a bit nutty, but still something that definitely should be preserved. But man, I wouldn't be running around that in traffic. Nice little Mustang notchback. And a Saline Mustang. So here we are on the dam. You can actually see the water as you see the gorgeous views. This is right here in LA, folks, but it's just up in the hills. Little Porsche. And you got lots of trees here on the other side. So here's where they actually dammed it. And this is the road going over the dam. That is the reservoir for the city of Beverly Hills. It's a 67 Olds 442 convertible. This one's got the automatic transmission with the buckets in the console.
Touch your car.
Alright, we actually have the Volvo Club over here. And this actually reminds me of one that my mother had. She had I believe it was a 74 Volvo. And we used to call it the coffee grinder because of the noises it used to make when you shut it off. But I don't think it was actually in tune. But back then it was just a used car. But man, you just don't see these anymore. These are pretty much all gone. Oh, let's get out of the way for the Shelby rolling through. It's a GT 500, 68. I think that was in, I'm pretty sure I shot that in some video. I think I shot that in the LA Cars and Coffee video. But, little Volvo coupe. These are actually getting to be real popular now. A lot of guys are customizing these. A little 122 and a little bit more modern Volvo wagon. Let's get out of the way for even more Lotuses coming through. In fact, another one rolled through when I wasn't filming. A little lease. I wonder if there's more Volvos. Hey, where that one guy's from the AMC Club. What are you doing over with the Volvos?
Looking
They're nice cars.
Yeah, checking them all
They're
out.
actually very Rambler-like.
They're kind of are Rambler-like. It's kind of like the forgotten or the what do you call it? The kind of like the outcasts of the automobile community. Yeah, European version of the
And they make good
AMC,
sport
except they still make them, even though they're not really the same.
Oh
anymore.
no, I mean the 122 specifically.
That's the
And the
For
554.
years, like nobody wanted them.
554.
They were kind of like just like whatever, you know. It's an interesting car, but now that people are restoring them and fixing them up. All right, we're gonna continue walking around here.
All right, buddy.
All right, here we go. So, beneath the little shooting brake wagon. I don't think I've seen one of these in ages with the full glass on the back. I used to see these on the street many years ago. I think that's the first one I've seen in probably at least 20 years.
That's really scary.
The very original one. This one's a 544. And it's got like diamond tuck upholstery. Original paint. It looks like they, if they cleared. No, they didn't clear over it. So this road through here is pretty narrow. So They kind of crammed people in there as best they could. So it's a very nice setting. There's a little like side pond away from the main reservoir. This is interesting. It's a P1900 according to the license plate. I have never seen a Volvo like this. It looks like a little roadster. I'm sure this must have been brought over from Europe later on, because I've never seen one of these or heard of one of these. It's a very interesting sports car. Normally when you think of Volvo, you don't think of sports car, but there it is. There's a 62 Volvo, and this one's just real pretty. Amazon. Look at the interior on this. That one's definitely worth shooting. That's a gorgeous car. It says a product of superb Swedish engineering. All right, we're checking out the Nash Healy here. This is actually out of the Peterson Automobile Museum. This little cubby hole here is all like museum quality stuff, so we're going to definitely show you this stuff. Here's Ani from the Rambler Club.
What's up, guys?
I guess he doesn't want to talk too much, but he's a little shy.
I wish this was my car.
Oh yeah, who doesn't? This is just absolutely gorgeous. Beautiful Nash Healy. Wow. Sort of AMC related. It's Nash from the Peterson, so I'm guessing, I don't know if this one's in the vault or if it's like on display. I don't want to go through the trees. I'm afraid if it's going to slap back and hit one of these museum quality automobiles here, because we've got the Shelby collection over here.
Hey, come on, let's go. I get that too.
This one's a 427 Cobra. Let's have a look at this. I don't know if these are all from the Peterson or not. Yeah, this is, wow. That is a real one. That is not a replica. Here's a Shelby Daytona. Oh, sorry. I don't know if this is the one. There's one of these that was owned by Phil Spector that was like the subject of a lot of some lawsuits and things like that. I think that one wound up on the East Coast though. But this is the one's owned by Jim. I can't read the name. 64 Shelby Daytona. Yeah, we're gonna spend a little extra time on this car. Here we go. Another. This one's, I believe, this is an AC. I believe this is pre. Is this one before Shelby? This is AC. This is the AC. So this is the ACA. So this is like the pre-Shelby Cobra, but not a Cobra. It's ACA.
Well,
So
AC lost its Bristol engine manufacturer.
Okay.
So when Carroll Shelby had the heart condition, he went over to AC Cars to import sports cars.
Yeah.
They didn't have an engine.
So he
And
went to
that's
Ford.
how it ended up evolving
Yeah.
over time.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is the father.
This is before. This is like the pre-Cobra Cobra.
It was racing in Le
the
Mans.
grandfather.
Actually, Carroll Shelby was racing these in Le Mans.
Yeah.
In 56, 57,
So he
58,
already
he
had the
was winning.
connection with the factory.
Right. So that's what it created his affinity to them.
Yeah. So
So
beautiful historic vehicle, not one you see, because most people would just assume this was a Ford Shelby Cobra, which is not.
no,
So
it's not.
okay, well, thank you for sharing the car with
My
us.
pleasure. Thank you.
Okay. So here's another one. Like I said, these are all real. These are not like you see at most car shows. The reproductions.
Straight six.
This one I believe is one that was originally raced.
Pushes back and forth, I guess, the rod
You
goes
see
back and
this
forth,
one.
and on the top.
It's like it's got an autographed photo from the original, the guy who raced it.
Which one? So the.
I'm not sure if this is a 289 or 427. I believe it might be a 289 or it could be a 427. It's an amazing group of cars here. That was a little 1970 Mercedes SL. Not sure which one. You can always tell on the back. This one's a 230, so it's or 280. So that's one of the that's the smaller SL. There's a nice, it's a 54 Olds convertible, 88. I've seen this car around before. This is a very pretty car. This one's an 88. It's a Ferrari, something or other.
We're just gonna follow them.
It's one of the fast ones. That's all I know. There's a beautiful Cadillac. Pre-fin, so it's pre-48. I know that. This is a Fleetwood. Yeah, this is a Fleetwood because it's got the hash marks on it. Yep, it's Fleetwood. A little Capri. This guy actually passed me on the freeway when I was driving over here. And a 61 Cadillac. I've seen this guy at local shows before. It's another Cobra. Most likely a real one. I'm just going to assume any Cobra at this show is a real one. Let's just do that. This one's a 61 Sedan DeVille. I love the 61 fins. Little Model A Roadster with a rumble seat.
Your last name is DuPont or Beverly? That's right. I called you in desperation looking for that.
I bet.
There's a Cadillac convertible, early 50s, like 53. This one is a Series 62. Eventually I'm going to shoot a video. I've got a 56 convertible that belonged to my dad, but in El Dorado. It's out in Palm Springs. Eventually I'm going to do a video on it. I meant to do a video on it and I just didn't have time. And it's a car that's been in my family since the 90s. And I'll get to it. It's a beautiful car. It's probably way too nice for my channel, but we'll go there anyway. And how about an Olds Aurora for a little juxtaposition there? Kind of like the last of the Oldsmobiles. It was like the end of an era here. Here's this one. This one's a 2003. Oh, this is the final 500 edition. So I wonder how many of these were actually kept. Check out the embroidery on the seat there. I wonder how many of these were actually kept in like this sort of condition of the last of the Oldsmobiles. The Aurora 4 liter North Star. I think those were North Star. This is a Mark 8 Lincoln. This one's very pretty. Believe it or not, I've always wanted to own one of these since they came out. This one is, I don't believe this one's an LSC though. Interior's decent, so it's probably got low miles. Usually when they're over 100,000, the leather's just destroyed. But let's go check these out. How about a Ford Roadster with a Hemi in it? I'm guessing it's a 392. Check out the manifold and carb set up there. 6 carburetors on this, pushing that Hemi. So it's got automatic in it. So a little bit of old, a little bit of new. It's a neat rat rod. Another one that's Hemi powered. It's got a cup holder that's inset into a motorcycle gas tank. As this Ferrari drowns out the sound. So BMW 2002. There's a large group of guys who are restoring these and have beautiful 2002s that go around LA. A lot of times they wind up at the La Cañada Cars and Coffee on Saturday mornings. I see them. It's a Dodge Charger. We got a Mustang Coupe. Looks like it's set up for road racing. A little bit ratty, but very useful. Just so I can get back here. I obviously don't want to rub into any of the cars. It's kind of neat. You got this Ferrari Daytona coupe rolling in. We're going to get to it. There's actually a whole Ferrari section, so I'm guessing he's going around the loop to the Ferrari. Enzo's Best. That is a genuine Ferrari Daytona coupe. And we're going to get to the Ferrari section probably towards the end of the video, because I think that's going to be one of the last sections as we go around the loop. It's a Lancia, for all you Italian, obscure Italian sports car fans. The 67 Lancia Fulva Sport Zagato. You got the headlight covers. Little Studebaker. That's a cool license plate. Duesenberg GT Hawk.
Why can't you guys put those things
With a 4-speed. Looks like he's added aftermarket air onto it, which will come in handy on a day like today. This one's very sharp. It's one of the nicest GT Hawks I've seen. The gauges on this. I like all the goofy stuff. Beautiful Cadillac. This is a 49 convertible. That deep burgundy color. The early cars, early finned cars.
Once they pass, I'll take off.
I said I will be doing a video on my 56 at some point. I just don't know when. Whenever I can get out to Palm Springs and take it out and shoot it. Yeah, got some later model stuff, some Porsches. I'll check out this Maserati. Beautiful Maserati coupe. This is a 68 Maserati Sebring 2. Yeah, the Italians know how to style their automobiles. That's just a gorgeous car. Not something you see every day. A Triumph TR250 Roadster. This one's 1968. Not as rare as the Maserati probably, but not something you see. It's an old race car. Sure, it's a Buick 8-cylinder in it. So this has got the Buick Straight 8 in it, 1923.
You'll know it when you see it.
Right over here. Let's have a look at that Straight 8.
Thank you. Very beautiful.
Those Strombergs on it. That's amazing.
It's a 1933 Indy car.
Oh, it's a 30. This is a 1933 Indy car. It's very. That is a museum piece if I ever saw one. It's a 67 Cutlass convertible, similar to the 442 we showed you earlier. Just the lower performance version with the bench and the automatic on the column.
You can drive it on the river. Yeah.
The Rat Rod from Utah. You can never tell if they actually came from Utah, because a lot of people in California register their vehicles out of state for tax reasons. And there's a chain link steering wheel there, and it looks like some sort of like a cow hoof for a shifter. It's got a Cummins in it. Cummins 12 valve diesel there. International. So, bit of a hodgepodge. I'm sure this guy's very loud when he starts it up. Here's a Bentley right-hand drive. We actually had, my dad and I bought a 1955 Bentley right-hand drive down in Long Beach, and I drove it back to the San Fernando Valley in traffic. It looked like a wedding car. It's a 47. The one we had was a 55. And my dad bought it. I assumed he was going to keep it, and then we immediately flipped it and went back east. But it was a beautiful car. Very stately. Got a Model T Ford. So we can get around here. 1914, according to the license plate. The little 4-cylinder. Pickup truck, Dodge. See, we got the Ram, little Lotus. It had the limited slip at the back. 1964 Lotus 7. For all you fans of the TV show The Prisoner, or at least the opening sequence of The Prisoner, it's an Alvis, 1952.
And that extension, all you have to do is unscrew it, take it off, back to the original. So I didn't ruin the originality.
That's awesome.
There's a 37 Oldsmobile. Gonna have to talk over because he's got the music playing. But again, a very unusual car. 2-door sedan. Brand new Corvette. You can go down to your Chevy dealer and buy one of these right now if you have a lot of money. I'm gonna come over here and see some of the Alfa Romeo Bertone. There's actually a few of them. I always thought about getting one of these, and then they got really expensive, so I guess I'm not going to get one. But I always thought these were just a beautiful car. Very cool Italian design. Alfa Romeo GTV. I believe I had one of these in one of my junkyard videos. I'm gonna have to go back and look. If I can find it, I will put it in the up top there where you can click on it. We actually had one of these in the what TF is that doing in the junkyard videos, if you can believe that wound up at a pick apart. I believe it was the same model, so don't quote me on that, but I believe it was. I'll put it in there if it is. So Lamborghini, and another Lamborghini, and whatever that is, oh, Ferrari. They all look like Transformers to me. Oh, there's a Testarossa. So this is what I grew up in the 80s. So this is what I think of when I think of Ferrari. And I used to play the video game Outrun, if you remember that one in the arcades, where you got to drive a Ferrari Testarossa Roadster. And when you crashed it, it flipped over, and then it was magically fixed 2 seconds later. But Testarossa, and of course Magnum PI drove a 348. So there's one for all you Magnum fans. Or sorry, there's a 328. So 328 GTS. Little Alpha Spider.
No, that's exactly the problem.
More Alphas. Little Spider. I like showing stuff like this because it's just not stuff you normally see. It's an Alfetta GT. Little Julia.
There's a video
Oh yeah. Yeah, I put so much fun.
who was
Mike's
in the
never
Ferrari dealership.
I've had 3 years.
And then he gets out.
Hate to say it, I think the Alpha Club got more people here than the AMC Club. But
Good people. He hears it all day. Dude. My office is
when I was driving in here, I was actually behind these 2 Thunderbirds. 57 right here on the front, and then the back a 1955 model. This one's fairly customized. The, shaved door handles, custom interior, custom gauges, everything else. Huh. Looks like it was like an original car when they started. Looks like they Frenched in the taillights there. Got a 55 bird. This one's got the automatic, so it's probably a pretty loaded car. These had a 292 in them, Y block. Little Fiat coupe. I think now we're getting into like the Fiat Citroën. All the French cars are in this area. This one's an 850 Fiat Roadster. It's a little Fiat Cinquecento 500. When I was in Italy in the late 90s for a trip, these were still running around back then. Not sure about now though. Of course, these were produced up until the 1970s. So yeah, Mercedes Roadster SL. Not sure which version it is. This is the 280, like the other one we saw earlier. This is a Nissan Figaro, so it's basically a Japanese retro car. They never sold them here, but all the ones that are in Japan seem to be winding up over here now.
Yeah, you didn't recognize that word,
And they're all right-hand drive. Even have like a retro stereo with a cassette that's molded into the dash. Little flip back roof, similar to like a Fiat. A lot of guys are importing these, and I guess if you can still find them over there. I have no idea why Nissan didn't try to build a version for the US, because imagine they would have sold well. Because retro stuff's always pretty hot, as long as it's done right.
really busy.
So, I'm going to go over and check out the Citroëns. Here's a wagon. This one is a 72. Unfortunately, they crammed them in here next to this earlier Citroën. These have the hydraulic suspension.
But even if they do, when I look over, I can't.
Just funky cars.
Also, should be somebody there.
One of the channels I like to watch on YouTube, if you've ever seen Cold War Motors, go check him out, because he's actually got a couple Citroëns that he's working on. It's real interesting stuff. Plus, if you like mid-century cars, like 50s, 60s American, especially Mopars, Ford look stuff, he's always got something cooking. This is a little Duesenberg wagon there, truck. This one's an AK 400. I guess it's not considered a Duesenberg. This little Renault Turbo. This one's the Renault 5. There's a few of those that made it over here to these shores. So, another Citroën truck. Okay, for all you muscle car fans, there's a 69 Camaro. This one looks to just be like a base, not like a SS, RS, Z28 or anything like that. Probably a 3-speed. Guessing it's a 3-speed car. Might be a 4-speed. You could get a 3-speed in these on the floor, but most guys have swapped them out with 4-speeds much later. How about a Chevy Love truck that's been converted to a small block Chevy? These Love trucks are all gone. They're actually manufactured by Isuzu, brought over and sold as the Chevy Love. And I think it's similar, very similar to the Pacers, where nobody thought anybody'd want these someday, so not a lot of them survived. We've got a full, got Roxanne. This is a full war, ready to go Baja Bug. I'm guessing these are dummy machine guns because you get in a lot of trouble for having stuff like that, especially here in California. But not sure if it's a gambler rig or he just takes it to those, you know, where they go out in the desert and they have all those like apocalyptic weekends. I'm guessing that's what it's for. They build those apocalypse-looking vehicles like Mad Max, and this would definitely fit right in. Since this is the Zombie Patrol, yeah, that's exactly what it is. It's even got a little escape hatch up here on the top. It's a little Morgan Roadster. I used to know a guy had one of these sitting in his backyard just rotting away, and that was about 25, 30 years ago, so who knows whatever happened to that one. It's a 57 Bel Air. And what is that? That's like a Maserati, I believe. Yep, it's a Maserati. Still some stragglers coming in, even though they were supposed to have not allow more cars in after about an hour ago. It's a 67 Corvette Stingray 427. This one's the 400 horse model. Of course, they went up to, they had the 390, which was the single 4-barrel. They had the 400, the 3 deuces, and the 435, which also had 3 deuces. So it's sort of like the mid-level big block, if you will, from 1967. This one's automatic. I believe that was the only one you can get with the automatic. You couldn't get the 435 with the automatic. So the 400 horse was the highest you could get with the automatic transmission. It says he wants $185,000 for it. It's a gorgeous car. It's got all the correct hoses and everything else. Most of my cars, I just go down to O'Reilly's and get whatever's on the shelf, but that's me. There's a little 3-wheeler. This one's newer, so this is not like an older one. If you look, it has like a modern motor, with S&S motor Morgan. So this isn't a vintage Morgan, but this is actually a modern reproduction. Are you like fancy European sports cars? We got you covered. This is like the Porsche area. I believe this is also the Ferrari area over there somewhere. So lots of Porsches, lots of Ferraris from the 1960s. I tend to hover over to the older stuff. This one is a 63 356B. I don't know, this is a Carrera 4. Like I said, I'm not well versed on the European sports car stuff. I know some things. At least I'm going to admit it. So I'm going to show you some of the old 914s and stuff like that. This one's a 356.
It's old.
The 64 356C. Show this 356A from 1957. trying to say is a little bit away from these cars because you can imagine they're very high dollar pieces. But, this Ferrari. This one is just GTO. What is this? 57 Ferrari 250 TR. Ooh, Webers. It's like a work of art right there. Little Acura NSX. Let's go back to the Ferrari. Speaking of cars like this, we're going to be doing Radwood here in a couple weeks. I don't know what I'm driving up yet. I'm supposed to drive my Fox body up, but the AC keeps cutting out and I got to take my daughter, so we might actually be showing up with a Cummins turbo diesel Ram. We might be driving that up since it still fits into the year, since it's a 96. But so I will be shooting a video at Radwood in a few weeks, as it is back for 2021. And they're actually already announced they're going to do another SoCal Radwood at the end of the year, so I'll be at that as well. Okay, so the car I bought may or may not be a Ford Ranchero. Okay, it actually is, but it's from the 1960s, so that's all the hints you're getting. You can just speculate on what year you think it is. Hopefully I'm picking it up tomorrow. Fingers crossed. There's a Austin Cord supercharged, but a replica. I saw this guy roll in. His families are getting pictures. There's a Jaguar something or other. Actually, my stepfather has one similar to that. I don't know. This one is the XJR. Yeah, that's the fast one. There's like a Chevy 2. Big block powered drag car. Another Ferrari. And how about a Ford Bronco? Very pretty red four-wheel drive Bronco with the hard top on it. There's a Toyota Land Cruiser. These have come up similar to how the Broncos did, the Bronco we just looked at. My dad used to sell these at a Toyota dealer back in Glendale back in the 1970s. He worked there and they sold a lot of them. Neat little taco with a side hack on it. It could be yours for $6,500. I don't keep up with the values on those, so don't ask me. So Nova. This one's fully caged. I'm sure it's ready to race. And this 57 Olds is moving on in. Was that the dusty rose color? That was like a big GM color back in the 1950s. It was that dusty rose. So BMW M6. Oh, this one goes all the way up the road here. So we got even more cars than I thought were here. Another Nissan Figaro. This one's really clean. A lot of these you see when they come over from Japan aren't so clean, but this is probably one of the cleaner ones I've seen. Little Scout, the flip down windshield. I had a Scout 2 many years ago. Jump over here, show you the 64 Galaxy 4-door. If I can get over there without tripping, so I'm not going to go that way. Like I said, now we're starting to see a lot of spectators, so it will be increasingly difficult to shoot these vehicles. I always liked the 64. I had a 64 wagon many years ago, a country sedan. It's a 68, I'm guessing a Tempest or a Le Mans wagon. With factory air. The badges are all shaped, so I can't tell if it's a Tempest or a Le Mans. This one's a Porsche Speedster. Or the BMW M cars. Saw these guys rolling in these Toyotas. It's off the right. There's one of these with right-hand drive. This is a GT4. All track. Or sorry, it's a Celica, not a Supra. This one's actually a right-hand drive, so I'm guessing it's a Japanese JDM import. It was a 94 Celica GT4. License plate, it says banned, so must have been a Japanese import. Little Z car. This is a 300 ZX91 with the T-tops. So about a this one's a 71 El Camino.
No way!
This is a very fast. Is this owned by a celebrity? This isn't loving. I thought maybe it was owned by a celebrity or something. It's a Hellcat. It says Hellcat on the license plate. It's a little Volkswagen Squareback. If you like air-cooled Volkswagen stuff, I did a video on the Octo meet, the Volkswagen Transporter meet down there in Long Beach a few months back. Probably about more like 6 months ago. It's a while ago. So be sure to check that video out if you're a Volkswagen dude. It's a beautiful old 88. Two-door hardtop. This one's a 52 model. And an El Camino. Getting into the late 70s and 80s body style. This one's very clean. Looks very original too. This one is a Volkswagen. It's a Passat. Yeah, this is the, I believe this is the VR6. This one's automatic, so I don't think it's the VR6. So just a Passat GL. It's pretty clean. You don't usually see those in that condition. So we're actually up here at the outdoor classroom area. I believe this is probably for the Beverly Hills School District. It's a couple of Ford hot rods, including this 1932 Roadster, a 55 Chev hot rod, complete with LS.
Well, that's a lot of chrome. That's true.
Very pretty Thunderbird. This one is a 64, yeah. My dad actually had the one with the tonneau cover on the back for the Roadster, simulated Roadster.
Oh, exactly. Yeah. That's on a good downhill.
Big, kind of funny. I just ran into a guy who thought I was Steve Magnante, if you can believe that. So, laugh if you will. So, all right, we're going to go back into the vehicles here. This is a GMC square body Sierra 15 pickup. Oh, this one's diesel, so no smogging in California. Little Alpine. This one is a Alpine A610. kind of an obscure car. Not one you'll see very often. There's a 56 Chevy, speaking of something you'll see a little bit more often, especially on these shores. It's got a very pretty engine compartment, lots of chrome. This one's a Packard. Packard Coupe. So is the B ration sticker there, and the windshield from World War II. It was a 39 model. Glass on my 40 is like delaminating like that in the back.
So
Here's a neat Cadillac. This is like about a 70. This one is a 70. Is it Brougham? Yeah, 70 Fleetwood Brougham. Very original. I don't believe this is restored. I believe this is original. Very pretty car.
That was the first one.
A little bit of a Lexus. Catalytic converter dispenser. So Mr. Jay Leno is here with his Duesenberg chassis. I believe this was an unbuilt car. I've actually toured Mr. Leno's collection. I've actually done some business with him. I've sold him cars, and I sold him a Corvette Rampside pickup that he has, and done some motorcycles for him. But this is part of his Duesenberg collection. It's actually an unbuilt chassis, so they never built a body for this chassis, and he drives it around just as you see it here. If you look, it's got all the gauges and everything. It's just unbuilt. Of course, everyone's hounding Mr. Leno. I'm not gonna do that. I actually know him. He knew my father as well. But anytime he shows up at one of these events, as you can imagine, he gets completely hounded.
Yeah, maybe. What are you gonna take?
But you're gonna walk over here. You can see he does a lot of pictures for people. He's actually a really cool guy. But check out his Duesenberg with the straight 8. And this horse belongs to Mr. Jay Leno. Okay, so I went through the entire loop here at Franklin Canyon Park and Reservoir here in Beverly Hills, California. So we've shot all the cars that are here, hopefully. I'm sure there's some more stragglers that might have moved in later on. So until next time, be sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment as to what your favorite car in the video was. And be sure to look out for my new Project Ranchero thing. That's going to be, hopefully I'll have that video up next week. If not, I'll have something else for you. So until next time, I'll be seeing you.